Why are you running away? Thought that you wanted to stay. All the words unspoken said that you loved me today. So how could you leave for LA? Oh, you left me broken. I'm reading all your letters. It doesn't make it better. You're living in my mind for free. I'm drinking all the liquor. I'm picturing you with her. You're nothing but a memory. You're out of reach, left me in the open. Your love for me, deeper than the ocean. So why did you break me apart? You left me with all these scars. Ooh, you left me broken.
If you're looking to grow your influence both on LinkedIn and
You left me broken. You left me broken. Why are you letting us go? Thought that you wanted me close. Drunk on this emotion. How can I even go home? With you is all that I've known. Oh, you left me broken. I'm reading all your letters. It doesn't make it better. You're living in my mind for free. I'm drinking all the liquor. I'm picturing you with her. You're nothing but a memory. You
guys, hey, how you guys? I guess that little button on the side didn't work out. How you guys doing? Welcome to our Cocktails with Chello episode 37. Hope you guys doing well. Already see that we have a few folks already in the house. I see my dude, the guy with the bow ties in the house. Thank you very much, Daryl. What's going on, my brother? Nice seeing you today. I got my dude Martin in the house as well, and Adrian from the Caribbean. He joined us earlier today on our discussion, which is Let's Talk Trash, and he was able to share some great insight on what he's working on right now. So thank you very much for joining us again, Adrian. Now, let's get the particulars out of the way. You guys know I definitely wanted to reach out and say, hey, thanks for joining me, family. Thank you very much for coming by. And be sure to let me know if you're team live or team replay. Mind you, no matter what team you play, that team always wins. So definitely let me know what you guys are doing. If you're watching me live, put that hash team replay or tag hashtag team live. Now, let's get this out of the way. All expressions or opinions are solely my own and do not reflect the opinions of my employer. The reason why I bring that up is because I work for the second largest recycling and waste industry, or waste company for that matter. So the reason I bring that up is I want to make sure that you guys know what we're going to be chopping it up here today, talking about how to get more followers. Is all on my own. It was actually influenced by a podcast that I was listening to. Now, if we haven't met before, hey, how you doing? My name is Chello Arcelay. Nice to meet you. I provide recycling and waste services for companies right here in Metro Atlanta. And I work with companies that are manufacturing. I also specialize with companies that are logistical and also in manufacturing companies in this area. I guess it's been a long day. So if that sounds like you, or you know someone that needs some help with that, implementing some sustainable recycling or waste services in that company, please feel free to reach out to me directly. My number is 678-683-9136. So I definitely appreciate that. Let me take a look and let me see if I have the room setting up right now, because that's going to be going live at 7:30. Let me see here. We go. We got that going. All right, perfect. Now, let me know. All right, we already know that you guys got to let me know if you're watching me team live. Also, what part of the world you're watching me from as well. be sure to do that. Now, if you want to join me in at a panel, I already put the link in the stream right there. So you could just look at the comments right there and you'll be able to click on the link and you could join me right here on the panel. Mind you, most of the fun will be done in the clubhouse room because you'll be able to listen and folks will be able to hear you as well. So either way, whichever you prefer, if you want to join me there, if you want to join me in the clubhouse room, the link is also in the rundown. You click there and then folks will be able to hear you and you'll also be able to hear the discussion there as well. Now, be sure to join me in the comments. So as you listen to what we're talking about, be sure to share your opinions there because a lot of people is going to be able to share best practices and what works and what doesn't work. So you're going to learn quite a bit today. And also we're going to be answering questions. I'll be sharing my story as well here and what works best for me as well. So everyone's network is different. So that's the key thing you have to be considering. Also, this is going to be a very riveting topic, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to be interested in hearing about this. So be sure to share this stream with your network. Now, when you hear something you like, you're like, wow, I should have thought about that. Oh, I didn't think that works. Definitely hit the reaction button. Let folks know that you're interested. You like what you just heard, so then we can make sure that we can continue providing content that makes sense for you. Now, this is also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and also in Twitter. So be sure first, in this case, be sure to subscribe to my channel on YouTube. The link is also in the stream there as well. So let's go. Let's take a look here and let's see what we got here comment wise here. All right. I see we have Bonnie in the house. She's popping in, pun intended. In this case. Yeah, you definitely want to connect with her. If you are a business that definitely are looking for a sustainable solution for your point of contact when it pertains to food and packaging, she has this great device that you can put right on top of cups, and you can actually hold a cup and have all your items in front. So imagine having your drink, having some chips, and also the nacho all in one spot. So she has some great innovating products. So definitely connect with her. Now we got my dude here. Okay, Adrian is in the house. Also, oh, my dude, all the way from Dallas. What's going on, bro? My brother, how you doing today? Welcome. Team Live all the way from Dallas. Thank you very much for showing me love. Thank you, sir. And I got my dude James is in the house as well. What's going on, James? I know he been wanting to come on and we can have a great discussion as well. So you're more than welcome to continue in the comments right there, or you're more than welcome to join me on the panel or in Clubhouse, whichever you guys feel comfortable in. Also, I got a good evening, good vibes, friends, good luck, and a great comment from God Bless. Let's connect. There you go. Barbato, what's going on, sir? Thank you very much. And I see you got the Brazilian fan there, flag, so you're definitely supporting that. And I got Marcello, the influencer. Thank you very much for the kind words. All right, so, and be sure to, when you connect with Trevor, this dude has a show every single Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. You see the hashtag right there. Who you know, if you definitely want, regardless if you're looking for work or not, he has some great insights when it pertains to employment. And even if you're not looking for work, great information that you can share other people that are looking for work. So definitely connect with Trevor. Thank you very much for stopping by. All right. And thank you very much, Bonnie. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey to you as well. All right. And I see my dude from the Caribbean supporting all the way from Jamaica. Thank you, Andrew. This guy, well, listen, combined with Trevor and Andrew, if you can't find a job, I don't know. Because, yeah, we got Andrew, the headhunter, in the house as well. Thank you. Yes, all you. Welcome, man. Much love, man. Much love. Thank you, sir. Okay, so let's see here now. Again, as I mentioned, we're going to be going live in the room around 7:30. Now, the way I came across this was from a gentleman's name. His name is Mark Williams. I'm already connected with him here on LinkedIn. I've been listening to his podcast for a very long time. I think his episode is like 316, something like that, I will say. Don't get me lying, but he's pretty up there now. And the most recent episode that he had was, the topic was how to get more followers, or in this case, I just put more followers on LinkedIn. He gave some great advice, sustainable and actually actionable advice that you can implement. Now, if you subscribe to his channel or his podcast, you should listen to a couple of episodes before the most recent one, because he had the founder of Shield. Now, if you're on LinkedIn and you create content, that definitely is something right up your alley. So that's a product that a lot of people live by when it pertains to making sure that you are reaching your ideal client and your content is resonating with folks out there. So let me know if you guys are using Shield. Let me know. I use Shield in the comments. If you're not using Shield, I'm interested. So be sure to let me know. Put that in the comments as well. I'll be more than happy to connect you with the founder, and he'll be more than happy to set you up with a demo on the product. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the podcast so we can actually get that going. Now, I want to ask you guys right now in the comments, you let me know, how you guys feel when it pertains to getting followers? And what I mean by that is that, do you feel that you are a pro? I need some work, or you're terrible. I mean by that is that people that engage with your content. So a 10, you're outstanding. I can get followers and all my followers engage with my content and my content almost goes viral. So that's a 10. And to put 10 in the comment. If you think you're so-so, you hit or miss. Sometimes you put something online, it hits. Sometimes it doesn't, and you're surprised when it does. Put a 5. And then lastly, if you need some help and you're like, gosh, whatever I put, I can never figure out if it's going to be a static image, text only, 5 hashtags, 2 hashtags, no hashtag, video, whatever it might be. I can't get any kind of traction on my posts. Put a 1 in there. So definitely want to make sure that we get some engagement and we create a dialogue while we listen and also engage with other folks here. So let's see here. What number we got in here? See Adrian. He's definitely very interested. And also Trevor, it sounds like he knows about that. Hey, what's going on, Bernard? I appreciate that. Yeah, you definitely want to look into Shield. No question about that. It's a fantastic service. And I see my dude, Chris, is in the house. Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you very much for coming through. This guy, if you need some help on producing a podcast, creating it, or even remote producing, he's your guy. You definitely want to connect with Chris Stone. He worked with one of the top heavy hitters here in Atlanta and also across the nation. So definitely, if you need some help streaming or actually producing your live streaming, definitely connect with my dude right there, Chris Stone. I appreciate that. All right, so I see Adrian. He put a 1, and Trevor says he's always learning. I like that. So I would say he's more like a 6 or a 7. Trust me, this guy, he's a ninja. He knows what he's doing. So, I'll put the link in there. What I'll do is that I'll definitely go into the comments afterwards and definitely connect with you guys. So let me see here. Now, again, if you guys want to connect with me on the live show, the content, the address is right in the dialogue. All you guys is to get out and you'll see right in the description. This is the link to join me in Clubhouse at 7:30, and this is the link to the podcast. If you had a chance to listen to it prior to it, then you know what you're going to be talking about or what we're going to be talking about. And then here's the link to if you want to join me in the panel. So that's the information is right there. Let me see here. Now I'll copy this here, and this is the link if you want to join me in the panel. And that went live there on YouTube. Give me 1 second. I'm getting a whole bunch of messages, so bear with me for a moment. All right, here we go. I see Trevor say he's a 6 and a 7. That's about right. That's awesome. I love that. All right, let me see here now. Let me bring this back up, and let me bring the podcast here for a moment.
If you're looking to grow your influence both on LinkedIn and elsewhere, then you're going to need to grow your LinkedIn following. So let's talk about how to get more followers.
All right, so we're gonna get the show going. Let me actually get the link up for the event at Clubhouse. So I'm gonna be sharing that link, so you guys will be able to see that also in the dialogue here. So I'm gonna bring that up here, share my phone, and you'll see the folks there as well. All right, so here we go. So this is the room here. All right. And I'll click on it. Here we go. Alrighty, we got that going there. And get the audio over here. All right, so I'm going to start the room. Go back. And it's already in progress, obviously, because guess what? I opened it in the other room. What do you know? So here we go. So we got the room going now. So now everyone that logs into the discussion in Clubhouse, you'll be able to listen to what we're going to be listening to today, and also when you speak, the folks in the live stream will be able to hear you. But now, if you want your pretty face to be on the screen, then you'll click on a link to join me here in the panel. So I may give you the link again for the Clubhouse room, because sometimes we all need a little bit of help. So let me bring this up here now. Now let me know now when it pertains to LinkedIn. Let me ask you this: how long you guys been actively using LinkedIn as a tool? And what I mean by tool, have you been using it to build your brand, promote what you're working on? So let me know. Has it been 5 years, 6 years, 10 years? And if so, what are the things that you're doing right now that you find success in? I mean, are you engaging with other people's content and somehow then afterwards miraculously you start getting some traction? I'm just curious to know, what are you guys doing now that you feel that you could replicate time and time again? Reason I bring that up is because my opinion and my recommendation, regardless of what you use, is to be sure to engage in people's content. Just like Trevor from Texas was doing, and other folks here on the live. That is a way of giving back to the community. So I definitely recommend you to do that. That's the best way to recommend. Now here, this is the link to let me bring that up, and that's the link for Clubhouse. So folks watching me on YouTube, we'll be able to see that link right now, and I'm gonna put it right now in the stream in LinkedIn. So I see Trevor has been doing it actively for 6 years, and I see Bonnie's been doing it for 8. Wow. So now let me ask you this: so Trevor, Bonnie, and I see James have been doing it for 6 years. So curious to know, James, Bonnie, and Trevor, what do you do? Let's say every single day, no matter what. What are you doing that when you do that, that's going to be putting deposits into your LinkedIn bank account and you'll be able to pull out? Are you engaging with folks on the dialogue? Are you on people's comments? Are you, let me ask you this. Are you, posting timely content, or you actually are producing live streams? So let me know one of those threes. Are you engaging in content? Let me know. Put that engaging in content. Are you producing timely content? Let's say, for instance, like in this case, a year ago today is the anniversary when things went banana when it pertains to coronavirus. So you're seeing a lot of that right now in your stream. So is that the stuff that you do? Or then lastly, are you producing live streaming stuff either on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, what have you, and you're seeing that good amount of traction? So let me know what that is. I see Liz, my good friend, the waste and recycling guru. She's actually joined me in Clubhouse, and you guys can see that right now in the screen here on LinkedIn as well. So now I'm curious to know. So let me know. I'm looking at the comments here. Let me bring my screen up and see what we got. All right. So Trevor's he's been doing it actively for 6 years. Bonnie's been doing it actively for 8. And Jane's been active for the past 6 years. Okay, so let's take a look. So Bonnie's saying, I don't engage or support others. You never build an audience. Huh. I'm sorry. I apologize. If you don't engage and support others, you'll never build an audience. It might be too late. That's what might be the case. So thank you very much, Bonnie. So obviously that's the key thing. She also says that commenting, posting, and encouraging and inspiring. See, that's almost like not necessarily the 1-2 punch. That's like a deluxe sandwich right there. You got everything covered up there. And I see Liz is in the house as well on LinkedIn as well, as she's joining me in the Clubhouse room. Bonnie also adds to that, like, we post every day, but always go out of our way to leave a good amount of engagement for others every day. So that's the key thing. Just likes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you could do that, and that's some form of engagement. It's almost like a head nod. You know, when you're walking down the street and you go like this, you nod at somebody's head, or you smile. That's a like. It's almost like a head nod. Or that's what that essentially what that is. And so now take a look. It said now Daryl's saying, "Is this a question about how long have you been drinking?" I jumped for a second. No. So the question, Daryl, is how long have you been using LinkedIn as a tool? Meaning that to promote what you're doing, your 9 to 5, promoting a specific cause, basically as a tool, like how social media should be used. Not, it's unfortunate sometimes a lot of people just use it, just to hang out, and I get that. I use LinkedIn. I use other platforms as a tool for what that is, and that's usually that's what it works best for me that way. So let me see. Let me get this out of here. Okay. So now let me take a look here. Let me see. So that's what I'm asking about right now, Daryl. I got to go into something here for whatever reason. Alrighty. Let me get this. All right. Let me clean this up. All right, so let's see here. So Daryl saying he's been doing it actively for 11 years. Daryl saying a nod is the black thing. Well, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I would agree. You do see it in other parts of the world. Yeah, I see Bonnie's giving a shout out to Daryl. This is a huge community. And then Adrian is saying he's been doing it, using the tool for about 7 years. So I appreciate that. Now, Adrian, be sure if to connect in the Clubhouse room as well, just to make sure that if you want to folks to hear you in the dialogue on all channels, that will be a good route. Mind you, you could join here if you're watching the live stream, people will be able to hear you, but it's only a one way. Just want to give you a heads up on that. So I see I got my dude James in the house. James, what's cracking lacking, sir?
What's going on?
Hey, man, thanks for joining us, man. If you're not connected with James, I'm not sure what you're talking about. You are hiding underneath a rock, because this guy, he got like the best looking suits. And if anything, like, I was watching one of the promo videos that he had for his business. And man, this guy got like the baddest looking shoes. I mean, so man, welcome, right, James. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks.
Do me a huge favor. Let folks know what you do on LinkedIn, what's your profession, what you do on LinkedIn, and why folks should connect with you here on LinkedIn.
Sure. Let me turn this button down. That'll help.
Yeah, and if you have headphones, that would be the key.
All right, let me go ahead.
Okay, no worries. I appreciate that. Now, right now, we see Bonnie is saying that strategy needs to be blended. Also, knowing the yes and no's of the algorithm. See, that's the tricky thing. Knowing exactly when. See, that's the thing, is that people always say, well, you have to know exactly when to post, and then how to post, how much hashtags. I've seen some that has no hashtags and has some ridiculous amount of engagement. But obviously it goes back to what Bonnie was saying earlier. If you constantly are engaging with other people's content, then the thing about reciprocity, people is going to be wanting to help you out because they love your content naturally. So that makes a lot of sense. Daryl saying you're fancy with the Clubhouse Connect. First to see you do this. Oh man, Daryl, yeah, you're new to this, baby. I've been doing this for weeks now. So you go back to some of my old streams. I have been streaming it both on LinkedIn and every single channel for that matter. And then let me see here. Boom, I bring this guy up. And I guess you're saying, let me know. Am I having an echo, Daryl, or my dude James is having an echo? We'll see. You let me know. And then Bonnie says there are some basic rules. Well, it's curious. Bonnie, share with us, like, I know you shared it already quite a bit, but what other basic rules would you suggest someone that's watching? Like right now, Adrian said earlier, he's a 1. So curious to know, like today, someone that is at a 1, you would tell someone that they need to start implementing starting tomorrow. In the meantime, and you can share that in a comment. In the meantime, I'm going to give the stage to Daryl and to James and give an opportunity to share his story. Go right ahead, James.
Cool. Still echo?
No, I don't hear echo on my end. Usually people see it or hear it elsewhere, but I don't.
Okay. So how you doing, man? Good to see you.
I'm doing good. Thank you very much, sir.
I got this crispy gentleman Jack.
Oh, you got Gentleman Jack? Oh man, and I got a mix with Coke and Jack. I got Jack and Coke and the Yeti right now.
You put Coke in it?
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't really respect Jack that much. That's why.
Oh, man. You ruined a good drink.
No, trust me. I got other stuff that I don't mix, but I don't really respect Jack that much. That's why I don't mind mixing it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so do me a favor. Let me know. Let folks know what you do 9 to 5, and also watch if folks connect with you here on LinkedIn.
Sure thing. So I'm James Jr. a broker for Western. Why is it this?
Yeah, we still see that hear the echo. Yeah. Yeah, no worries. That's fine. No worry. And I have my dude Bill all the way from. I invited him to speak. He was on the show earlier today, and now Bill, what we're doing today is that we're gonna be talking about how to get more followers, and we're gonna be listening to a podcast. Actually, you came at the right time because right now I'm looking at the clock, and it's 7:30. So this is when I was gonna be going live on Clubhouse, and we're gonna be listening to a podcast from a gentleman named Mark Williams. He's gonna provide his insight on how to obviously naturally get more followers for that matter. And now if you're on LinkedIn, Bill, anyone else that's watching and listening, feel free to join us there, YouTube or Facebook, and you can engage in the content there as well with the comments, because that's where all the comments right now are coming through on LinkedIn if you want to do that. Now, I'll give you a moment there, James. Let me see what else we have here. Comment-wise, posting more than twice a day is a dead zone. That's what Bonnie said. Interesting. Mind you, I'm curious why you say that, because I'll say I post in the morning and I'll think about what I want to post, right? And if I have something, I'll post it. If I don't, then I leave it alone. But if something else comes up like today, after having a dialogue, I was like, well, I was curious to know if it was a specific question. I can't remember. Actually, it wasn't that important. I posted it with no photo, nothing. And I did that just because. So I'm just curious to know how that works. And then Bonnie says once, and then second post distributes 50 times less. Okay, so the first, that's interesting, huh? Diminishing returns. Okay. Now, I before I go to my next comment, I know that Bill's right now right on stage here in Clubhouse. Bill, do me a favor, let folks know about yourself, what your 9 to 5 is, and I guess in this case, why should folks connect with you on Clubhouse and also on LinkedIn?
Hey everybody, this is Bill. I think I got here completely by accident because I didn't notice you myself. So I'm gonna hang out with you for a minute.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm Bill Clayman. I'm the EVP of Digital Solutions over at Switch. And believe it or not, a part of my 9 to 5 and what I do after work is really being really heavily involved in social media, getting people to engage and talking. And you know what? I think the secret that's not a secret at all is just engagement and like true, meaningful, heartfelt engagement, kind of like what Marcello's doing here, what he does with other people across different kinds of social media platforms. Letting people know that the people talking, we're human beings as well. Engage with folks, answer questions, and I don't know. That's the way I've gotten the most organic followers on places like LinkedIn and Twitter and other places.
So now, if like Adrian, he was on the discussion earlier as well. Okay, he's curious to know. He's at a 1 right now, so he needs. He's wanting some help. If you're talking to somebody or saying that they're a 1, meaning 1 that they need help with social media and engagement, a 5 meaning I'm working, I'm making do, and then a 10, he might be close to what you and I are doing. What would you tell someone that they feel that they score themselves a 1, what they should start doing?
Social media is an engine. It really, really is an engine, and you have to start somewhere, right? You got to get the car rolling before you can do anything. And a lot of times people get really sad, right? They'll do a post once a week, once every 2 weeks. It's really sad. They don't get engaged, and we don't have that kind of continuous stream of thought happening. With somebody who's ranking themselves as a 1, listen, everybody had to start somewhere. Marcello started as a 1. I started as a 1. I didn't have anybody following me until you had something good and meaningful to share with the world. So if you feel like you're in that boat, don't worry. Reach out to other folks that are like us that will be happy to connect with you. But really, it's all about creating that meaningful connection with others, commenting, replying, sharing, not just liking, but maybe commenting and adding some meaningful thought behind whatever you talk about. That gets a lot of attention, I promise. But beyond anything else, the secret is just getting started and being consistent.
And now consistency, that's always been the thing that people are saying is that's inconsistent about consistency. So curious to know, do you have a formula? Bonnie shared with us earlier, not more than 2 posts a day. She said that after the first post, your second post is only really going to get 50% exposure on LinkedIn. Curious to know, what's your philosophy based on your engagement?
I usually try to do at least one post on my big social media channels, which is LinkedIn, Twitter, and a little bit of
try
Facebook.
to do
LinkedIn and Twitter.
at least one post
on my big, or sometimes 3 posts. I probably wouldn't go overboard and flood your user stream unless you have good, meaningful content you're following on a topic. Or let me give an example. If I am attending a large Google event or some kind of a conference, but back when we used to attend them, if I was live tweeting like a keynote address, listen, if I'm like popping out 15, 20 posts, people are eating that because it's live, it's content, it's streaming live. They're not in the audience with me, and I'll be able to keep them up to date. In that case, probably you don't want to limit yourself to like one post over an entire keynote, especially if you're sharing this live. But in most cases, if there's an update, if there's something interesting, don't hold yourself back entirely, but you don't want to flood the stream either. I use a platform. It's called Hootsuite. Other people use different kinds. For me, it's a great way to see my scheduled tweets, what I send out that's not scheduled. By the way, I usually pretty much don't send out scheduled tweets. I try to make them live whenever I can. And it also shows me the interaction I have between my multiple social media streams. Because if you got more than one, it can get kind of complicated.
That's fantastic. I'm glad you mentioned that because I know that a lot of people use services like Buffer. And I've used that before, and I remember when it first came out, I used to use it for Twitter, and just because I wanted to tweet it, but I didn't want to, tweet something at a specific time because I didn't want people that I'm thinking I was up. And there's so many different things that you could explore, and I bring that up because services like Hootsuite or other services, they typically try to hold your hand or guide you, meaning that they'll give you suggestive times to post. How have you felt in the past that if those suggested times, have you followed them? And if so, have you seen that those times that these platforms that suggest times to post, have they been better or worse or indifferent?
You kind of have to follow the data, right? That's a part of what makes all of us successful is that we use data to make better decisions. Mm-hmm. So if there's a platform that's using data and an algorithm to tell me when people respond the most to my posts and they're going to suggest a time for me, I'm going to let you in on a secret that's totally not a secret, obviously. So I'm probably going to do that. And at least try and stay within the vicinity of what I want to talk about. Now, if there's an urgent post or if there's something I want to get out, I might not necessarily follow that time frame. Mm-hmm. But certainly if there's a suggested better time for when your audience specifically engages with me, that's interesting. There's a really interesting app. I'm actually going to try and find it live for us right now. It's an influential tool. I think it's called, hang on a second. Oh my goodness.
While you look that up, have you heard of a product called Shield?
I've not.
You definitely, now the guy that you're about to listen to, he had him on his podcast 2 podcasts ago, and this thing looks like witchcraft. I mean, the stuff that they get, the data, and then how many people believe in the service, it's remarkable.
Well, using so there's a lot of sentiment analysis that happens here. So I found it. It's called influential.co. So if you're listening to this, it's influential.co. I just saw a demo of theirs. And what they do is they not only break down your audience, help you understand when to post, how to post, they show you your score, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're using, like most of your followers are bots, or if you're not interacting, if you're below the average of what other people are posting, and based on your interest, it'll actually tell you the demographic and the value system of your audience. Are they empathic? Are they, more aggressive? Are they, liking sports? What kind of audience you're getting to, so that you could actually. Now, this is really, we're talking like micro social media, where we're able to tone our message based on some of the sentiment analysis that we're gathering from our own audience in terms of who they are and how they interact. But you talk about the granularity of this stuff. This kind of platform, if you are trying to become an influencer, if you're trying to become somebody who is trying to reach a broader market, this is the kind of in-depth tool that you would use to really sort of understand yourself as a person who tries to post on there and gain a better or broader social media presence. Otherwise, like you said, platforms like Hootsuite, they will hold your hand. In fact, anybody listening, you can try it out right now for free for like, I can't remember how many, it's like 3 or 4 free social media accounts. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of really cool tools, but that influential one, that was fascinating to see just how deep the analytics go.
Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. I see that we have a couple other folks that joined us in the room. Liz, welcome back. And I see Gabe. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll give you an opportunity to speak. In the meantime, in the live stream, Bonnie brought up something that I discussed in my last LinkedIn Live for Cocktails with Chello. This is actually last week. Now, she talked about the SSI score. I'm curious to know. I want to hear folks here in the live stream, and I'll put a link to the SSI score later on. Let me know if anyone knows what that is, and if so, what your score is. Now, I'll tell you right now, my score is 70, and I'm curious to know, does anyone in Clubhouse know what an SSI score on LinkedIn is? And also in the live stream, let me know if you know what that is, and share what that score is. So go right ahead, Clubhouse. Let me know what you guys know about the SSI score.
Oh, this is new to me.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, this is new. So I'm kind of curious myself now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a link to it. So the link is linkedin.com/sales/SSI. I'm going to put that right now in the live stream. So this is the link. So if you guys watch it, Bonnie knows
I am all over this. We're doing this live right now. How much worse than Marcello am I? That's what I want to find out.
Yeah, I must have dropped down a point. I'm down to a 69. So I could be better.
My favorite number.
Yeah, that's a good number. I would agree. It's almost like a yin yang, right? People talk about that. So I'm gonna put it up right now on the live stream. Everyone that's watching it can see that I'm a 69 right now. I see my lady Bonnie. She knows her number. She's a 78. And
boom, 74.
What? You wow. Oh wow, that's pretty good. That's
top 1% in the industry. Get out of here. That's it. I'm dropping my phone, but it's an expensive phone, so I'm not going to drop it.
Yeah. So this is, and I'll go into the podcast and we'll have a discussion on that, what the topic of today. But the thing is how this breaks down, right? You hear about these gurus and people that know how to optimize your profile and how to get you more followers. You know where I'm going, mind you. These people know what they're doing, but what they're following is this model right here. And the model is, I'll bring it up on full screen right here. These are the 4 areas you want to focus on. Establish your personal brand. And there's steps that you need to go about that. So you have to sit down and think about it. How can I do that? So obviously people that do that for a living can help you and coach you through that process. The next section is finding the right people. So in this case, given that what industry you're in and what you do for a living, are you finding the right people so that they score you on that? And then also the third one is engage with insight. That's exactly what Bonnie was talking about earlier. And then the last one is building relationships. So that's in the comments, that's in the DMs, and just the interaction, essentially, just holistically. So those 4 areas ultimately makes your score. And this is what impacts if your content reaches your target audience and how often they see your stuff. So that's what, so yeah, if you want to learn more about that, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to send you a link to that discussion. And and also send you a link to the podcast that I heard this about. Now, in the meantime, I want to let folks introduce themselves. I got Liz. I see Gabe. Go right ahead. Liz, ladies first, please. Liz, tell folks about yourself, and why should folks connect with you here on LinkedIn and also on Clubhouse, please.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for calling me up. And hi, everyone. I am Liz Bothwell. I am the head of content and marketing for Waste 360, which is owned by Informa. So I cover sustainability, waste recycling. And in terms of Clubhouse, I'm fairly new here, so I keep popping in and out of different areas that pertain to the industry itself or marketing and content creation. And on LinkedIn, I think I can do a much better job than I am doing. So I'm loving the advice, Bonnie. I might start following you. Mm-hmm. Loved your score. And Marcello, I put into the note here, your video note to me really stood out because because I'm in marketing and content, obviously I get a ton of sales pitches. But your note stood out because it was this friendly, sweet video inviting me to connect and join your room and Clubhouse. And it was just such a friendly start to my day. So I would say that is great advice for anyone, is just switch up the messaging and go for that. The video really worked.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I know we're connected and I'm so grateful. We've engaged on via DM quite a bit. And also you were able to be one of my special guests in our midday discussion, which is Let's Talk Trash. So I appreciate that joining us there. I know that we went on a specific topic, but next week we're definitely going to be tackling the other items that we had on the rundown. But again, thank you very much for your input then, and also for joining us tonight. Gabe, do me a huge favor. Let folks know about yourself, what you're about, and how why should folks connect with you here on LinkedIn and also even on Clubhouse, because this guy, he's like hosting room after room after room.
Well, right now, so I am on Clubhouse. So if you would like to follow me, please do. I jump in a few rooms time to time. So when I am on LinkedIn, I would suggest you to connect with me. Right now, I'm taking a social media hiatus, self-imposed social media hiatus. Just because sometimes we need to have a break. So what I do though, when I am on LinkedIn, I'm a live stream broadcast host. I am a remote producer, content creator. I'm a personality, aspiring author. There's so many things that I'm adding to the bio every single day. And when I usually get on social media, I usually do enjoy connecting, engaging, and I also follow one of those tools that you use as well, Marcello. I love selling myself using video messaging and even the audio messaging sometimes. Seems to work a little bit better connecting with people. It's more personable. When you send somebody a message, they can hear your voice, or when you send a video to somebody, it's such a wonderful way to introduce yourself sometimes. And I find most of the time people are more receptive to the idea than just a normal pitch, even though I have nothing to sell except myself and talking to folks. But it's such a cool way to use tools that you already have right there integrated in what you use every day. So I like the fact that you do that. Well, you've done that a few times to me. I've sent you some back, and But again, it's just it's just another way to communicate, man. And that's the name of the game here, no matter what. In networking and in people in general, it's just connecting with folks, right? And if you can find better, more, creative ways to connect with somebody, why not use them? I say I'm always down for that. So that's, folks, right now is me in a nutshell. And like I said, I am more active right now on Clubhouse than anywhere else, just because I don't have to be on video. Because before I took my little break, folks, I was doing a live stream 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
And that is kind of hectic. So I've just taken a little bit of a breather, retooling, re-energizing, reinvigorating, and reevaluating a lot of things before I decide to jump back in with both feet. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. In the meantime, I'm gonna see if my dude James, how he's doing right now in the live stream. I see. Oh my gosh, I got this guy. Woo-hoo! I haven't seen him in a while. But Marco, I just brought you in to speak. So when you want, you're more than welcome to come to the stage.
Marcello, I gotta connect the dots here a little bit and make this really interesting here.
Please,
as well. So
go right ahead.
So believe it or not, Liz and I are connected in an interesting way, because she works for Informa, and I am the contributing editor to Information Week, Dark Reading, Data Center Knowledge, and a few other pretty big Informa brands. And I've spoken at Interop. I'm the keynote speaker at Data Center World, all Informa. And so what's fascinating here is that Liz's organization, actually what's really interesting is I came in through the Penton, actually even other acquisitions into Informa. What's fascinating about this organization is that we've been able to market even more broadly on LinkedIn by doing things like video promotions and video conversations, really quick 20, 30 seconds where we interact and engage with people really quickly just to promote some content and some other activities. And I can tell you Informa and that brand has been very good about doing some of that level of interaction and getting more people to follow you, interact with different kinds of pieces of content. So Liz, I think you and I are connected, but we sit like just across the desk from each other, and we wave occasionally, but I think we have different channels that we talk on. My goodness,
Yes.
It's great to have you.
Wow.
Oh, you too. What a nice surprise this is. I love this.
Oh, what
Small
a
world,
I
small
know,
world.
small world. That is
Small world, isn't it?
and mind you, they're in totally different ends of the spectrum, and it's crazy to think that I've been connected with Bill for a while because I should have said this earlier. Full disclosure, Bill works for one of my clients, which is Switch. Okay. No,
that's fine.
Yeah, but he has great insight when it pertains to social media and obviously waste and recycle and just sustainability. But yeah, isn't that amazing? Wow, I would agree with that. Wow. Bill, thank you for sharing that bit. And Liz, do you recall that? Do you recall him waving across the cubicles?
I think it would have been across the state. I don't know where Liz is located, but
yeah, I think she's in the East Coast.
Yes, I'm in Connecticut. I'm on the East Coast, but I love this. This is so fantastic. And it's funny, Bill, because normally I just say Waste 360 and I don't say Informa, but since we're talking about LinkedIn and that bigger, broader context, I brought that into it. So I'm so glad I did, and we need to connect.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much for bringing that up.
Let me give a quick shout out to somebody who's watching on LinkedIn. I'm not on LinkedIn right now, but my friend DJ is.
Yeah. DJ's in the house. DJ said she's going to text you. I guess you just got the text.
Yeah, I just got the text and just tell her I said hello and thank you for watching. Right?
And listening.
Support, and listening, right?
Yeah.
Even though I'm not on there, but this is the magic of what I mean by connection, right? Mm-hmm. And networking and these circles that we get into, right? Is that this people find out things like what Bill and Liz just kind of said between themselves. It's like, gosh, it's so wonderful when you see something like that happen, because it kind of just shows the power of what you're doing and when people have the opportunity to actually come in a room like this and connect and share. And it's like, wow, it's why I've always loved just straightforward connection and hearing about people's stories, because they learn and find out things about other people that that they usually have a lot of commonalities and things in like working in certain industries and knowing a lot of the same people. So man, this is awesome. Always enjoy it.
Yeah, and Jazz was saying, Jazz Chamber saying small world, and then DJ, she got up a whole bunch of smiley with hearts and laughter emoji, and she's the AKA the silver fox. So so let me go to my dude James, and folks that are watching the live stream will be able to hear what he says. The folks in Clubhouse may not. So let me bring my dude James. James, how you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Perfect. Now James, do me a favor now, and I don't hear the echo now, so hopefully folks don't hear it either. Do me a huge favor, let folks know what you do at your 9 to 5, and also why should folks connect with you here on LinkedIn, please.
Sure thing. Awesome.
Thank
I
you.
wish it was a 9 to 5, but some James B. Kynes Jr. I'm a broker for Rush Memorial Real Estate Group.
Mm-hmm.
We are a commercial real estate firm specializing in tenant representation as well as business brokers. So one of the reasons I think people should connect with me, I'm just a huge supporter and I'm a huge fan of entrepreneurship, growth, as well as seeing people do well and love what they do. So you may get a shout out from me. I may tag you. I may comment on your post. Just because I love to see people winning, and so I think that's the number one reason. Like, you should connect with me so we can build and grow a relationship of commonality as far as seeing each other win and grow at the same time.
Okay, awesome. Hey guys in the room, I know you might have not heard that, so I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to see if I can come up with a solution on that other than just holding up a phone. So that just is always kind of kooky. Yeah.
So which James is this?
James, he's a broker, and he, if anything, I will say that he's a jack of all trades. That will be my summation of what he does. This guy does it all. So now, in the meantime, let me actually get the podcast going, and then when I do a pause, then I'll refer to the comments that we have here. So here we go.
It's LinkedIn Informed, episode 315. Welcome to a new episode of the LinkedIn podcast, LinkedIn Informed, with me, Mark Williams, Mr. LinkedIn. Just me this week, no interview, no Andreas. The dulcet tones of Andreas have gone after the last 2 weeks, or the last 2 episodes. And it's just me, I'm afraid, today, so sorry about that. We're going to talk about followers today, and I think it's a subject that I've been thinking about covering for a while, actually, and really just want to focus on how to grow a following on LinkedIn. And there are a whole load of different ways that you can do it, but I'm going to talk to you about the way that I would recommend doing it and the way that I work with my clients in doing it. So, but we've also got a couple of other things to cover as well. I've got a post of the week, which actually I think is very relevant to the subject of followers. So we'll come to that. It's a text-only post, but delivered by someone who I think has done a fantastic job of building followers and building influence on LinkedIn. Also a couple of interesting things that I saw this week, a potential new feature in profiles that LinkedIn are testing at the moment, and also something to do with IDFA data, whatever that is. I'll come to those in a second, but so the main subject is talking about followers this week. All right, so that's what we've got. Let's get on with it. Apparent price if this one does happen, so it's just don't clamp down more on people, and you'll find increasingly people are doing it, so it seems like you'll get it by email, and you'll also get and what happens is that this is to do with advertising, and it warns users that they give their customers that they won't be able to give And they've always been subscription based. With advertising, are thinking more that way, and that means that that's why there's this focus on company pages and in continued improvements to company pages, because that's the part of LinkedIn where they sell advertising. LinkedIn clearly don't want us to know that they're tracking them, and that's interesting in itself, I think. Data in order to sell ads.
All right, here we go.
So how do you get more followers? Well, first of all, let's talk about followers full stop, really, and let's understand what they are. The official definition from LinkedIn of a follower is someone who receives your posts, articles, and shares in their LinkedIn homepage feed. That's the official definition from LinkedIn. Of course, yes, that might be true, but not entirely true, is it? Because although your content may appear in the homepage feed of every follower you've got, it would be so far down that they'd never see it. So it's not quite as simple as that. I mean, obviously, a follower includes people that are connections, because every connection is automatically a follower. But they can choose to unfollow you at any time, of course, as well. And connections will also, in addition to seeing your post, articles and shares, they will also see your comments and reactions in their feed. But obviously, just because a follower officially receives your content doesn't mean that they're going to see it. Depends on where it is, doesn't it? So this is obviously determined by relevancy, which we talk about a lot on this show. And the algorithm will need to think that you are relevant to them, or that they have interest in you, in order to show it high up on their feed, and therefore them actually see it. Which obviously means that our actions, and those of our followers, of course, matter with regard to the visibility of our content. But the definition of a follower includes connections and people that choose to follow you, people that select to follow you by going to your profile and clicking on follow, which is for most people in the more menu, because the primary default action on a profile is to connect, although some people like myself have changed that, and I'll come back to that later on as well. So why do we need followers? It might seem an obvious question with an obvious...
I'm curious now. I'm going to ask folks in the chat and Clubhouse, and also then I'm going to ask James. Oh, better yet, let me ask James right now. Curious to know, James, when and this is James in live stream, which is the video. Curious to know, James, what do you how do you have yours set up? Do you have a follow set up as the primary when someone comes to your profile, or do you even have follow not even as an option, and what's your opinion on that?
You know, I need to check and see if I got follow. I like because I follow people, and then I send them a request just to connect with them. But I don't know if I actually have follow set on mine.
Okay, so I guess you wouldn't have an opinion on what either or, if you had it as an option or not even only connection only, because I know at one point I only had a connection option, not to follow, and I recently changed that after listening to Mark's podcast. So let me ask the folks here in Clubhouse. Let me ask now, Gabe, curious to know what you have when you were on LinkedIn. How did you have yours set up? Did you have it set up that you had people to follow you and also connect with you? And if so, which one did you favor, if any, if either one?
I had it both ways, right? So because I mean, you know, I kind of enjoyed having the options, and sometimes people who would, you know, that I guess that was where I really discovered that a lot of people that I wasn't maybe connected to, but followed me, was like eye-opening whenever I would have conversations with some of these folks, where eventually either I would reach out to them or they would reach out to me, and like, oh yeah, I follow your shows and your content. I'm like, wow, but when you look them up, they're like they would be like a third connection or something, and I'm like, wow, right? I mean, because you can follow somebody, right?
Yep.
You don't have to be connected with them, though. And that was kind of, that's why I kind of like, you know what, I kind of like that option a little bit. So if somebody maybe didn't want to connect because they thought, I don't know, that maybe they didn't want to, for whatever reason, whatever reasons they decided that they didn't want to connect, but they wanted to follow whatever was going on just because they thought what I was doing was pretty cool, then I would always be open to that. So yeah, I would never shut down any kind of options like that, but I'm just one of those people, though. I mean, it's different strokes for different folks. People choose different things because they want maybe specifics in their network. So I mean, I don't know, that's how I see it.
No, you make a good point. I think about the only reason why I would think someone would not want someone to connect with them is, and this is my layman's opinion, is that sometimes when you connect with people, not sometimes, when you do connect with people, you generally do allow them to get into your network, which in essence, you're allowing them to connect with other people within your network. So, when you say, yeah, you can connect with me, then essentially you are allowing them to talk to other people within your network and get access. Very similar to like what I do professionally. I mean, if I need to talk to a CFO, or a CEO or a CMO, I may not go directly to them. I might talk to someone else within the organization, and then from there, work my way up. So the same thing essentially is how that would work when it pertains to the connection versus follow. Now, what's your point of view on this, Liz? Did you or do you have both options available? I can't think of it, but right off the top, if you have either, what's the name? If you have, follow or connection, or like I had before, I didn't have the follow option set up. So I wonder, and also your opinion on that.
I still have both set up. I know I have more than 1,000 or more, but at some point I know my connections are going to run out. I used to be really particular about who I connected with for the exact reason that you're saying, just giving them access to the network. And also, I just get a ton of sales pitches. So it's just one of those things. The worst is when you say yes to someone that you don't know, or you don't know many connections of. Mm-hmm. And then next thing you know, you're hearing about their great software, or, how they can help you when they don't even know you and haven't added any value. So I still go back and forth on that. I don't accept everyone, but, if we have common connections and we're adding value to each other, I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you. I'm glad that you feel the same way on that. I see that we have now, if you are just joining me right now on the live stream, what we're talking about today is we're listening to a podcast from Mark Williams, and he shares some gospel on how to get more followers. And I'm sharing the dialogue on I'm sharing the audio, and then obviously we'll stop in between and debate what we're hearing, and also exchange best practices. So curious to know right now, if you're watching me on the live stream, obviously you're watching me live, but let me know if you're team live, if you're team replay, be sure to put that hashtag team replay. Let me know what part of the world you're watching me from as well. And don't be shy. We could definitely join in the conversation, like my good friend Julia just did on LinkedIn. We're answering a lot of your questions in the live stream as well. And be sure to share this with your tribe, because a lot of people, this topic is timely. This is evergreen topic. Everyone wants to get more followers. But the key thing is the right followers. So that's what we're going to be talking about in essence today. And also show me some love. Hit the reaction button if you hear something you like. And lastly, be sure to follow Cocktails with Chello to make sure you can stay in the loop. I see my dude is saying, I see your microphone. Yeah, I must have upgraded my microphone from time to time. So thank you very much for that. All right. So let's and I see Amanda all the way from Gwinnett. Team Gwinnett is in the house. What's going on, Amanda? Thank you very much for coming through. Alrighty. So let me go back to the podcast right now. We'll continue and then we'll pause when it's, a good time to pause.
Yes, answer really, but let's sort of just break that down. A follower, and again, that could be a connection or someone that's purely a follower, could be influenced by our content. Now, that's important because that influence may bring them towards being a customer or whatever you're looking to achieve on LinkedIn, really. So if you're a recruiter, it could be someone that's a candidate, or it could be someone that wants to recruit. And a whole variety of people that we're trying to influence for different reasons. But the bottom line is that content should, if it's done well, influence those people towards becoming closer to us, understanding us better, and wanting to work with us in some capacity. Also, when a follower engages with our content, they automatically distribute it to their followers. Now, of course, that also depends on relevancy as well in terms of who they are. And of course, that's what we call, broadly anyway, organic reach. So I always classify organic reach as what you can achieve in terms of distribution of your content through not paying for it in any way, shape or form, just merely through the engagement of other people. Now, obviously, it is a possibility that people can find your content without it appearing on their feed. Obviously, there are other ways to find content. You can search for content. Someone could come to your profile and click on your activity and posts and then see your posts from the past. Or even if you put your posts in your featured section on your profile, they may see it there. There is a variety of ways that people can arrive at your content, but the primary way that people are going to find your content is through their feed. And if they're not a follower, the only way that's going to appear in their feed is if someone that they are following engages with it. And so that engagement is critical for the distribution of your post beyond your followers, right? Now, the number of followers we have.
All right, guys, I want to ask you a question. I wanted to pause that there for a moment. I'm curious to know people that are watching me in the live stream on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, where are you getting your followers now? Are you actively looking for followers, or like what Mark said, are you going through your stream and then you come across someone else's content that was vetted by someone that you follow or you're connected to? So I'm curious to know that, and mind you, you could notice that because you can see some content, you see their face sometime, like, I don't know this person, but then if you look on the top of the feed, then you can see, okay, oh, all righty, Jackie liked this content, or Jackie reacted to this content. Let me take a look at that. So let me ask James. He's on the live feed right now on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Curious to know, James, when it pertains to LinkedIn or the followers that you're engaging, do you actively look for followers or do you just organically run into followers? What's your approach on that?
I'm kind of more of an organic. I like if I see something or see we got mutual connections, I may send a request just to connect. And I think the people who are following me, who send me requests, may find me some kind of way through some kind of mutual connection as well. Okay, all right. I like that approach. And now let me know in the links here, or I got a brain fart in YouTube, Facebook, or also on LinkedIn. Where you guys are getting? Are you getting it through your main feed? Is that where you're getting your followers from, or are you any particular day you're like, I'm going to start looking for some followers, so I'll type in, if you're a hairstylist and you want to connect with more hairstylists, are you going to type in hairstylist and then all the hairstylists that come up and their content, are you going to engage in that? Are you, doing that? Or, just wondering how you guys your approach when it pertains to followers. So definitely share that, your opinion in the comments in the live feed. So I appreciate that. I'm going to bring back the dialogue right here, the video. And Juliet, let me know if you're still with us. And also Amanda, where you guys are getting your followers, if any. Do you actively look for followers? I'm curious to know. I see Donald gave me a clap, so thank you very much. Donald Kelly is in the house as well. Curious to know what you are doing as well when it pertains to followers. So let's go back to this, and I'll go back to the comments in a moment.
Obviously, significantly impacts the visibility of our content. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that someone that has 30,000 followers is always going to get better results than someone who has 5,000 followers. That doesn't always equate. But if you look at it in the big picture, broadly speaking, if you've got more followers, the chances of greater visibility are increased, right? Greater visibility of your posts. Therefore, you could say that the more followers we have, the greater influence we have on LinkedIn and possibly beyond. And that's both real and perceived. And what I mean by perceived is that when you look at somebody and they have a high following, your perception of them is that they're more influential. Of course, someone could have a really high following and never produce any content and not influence anybody at all. But of course, it is true that people will have a perception of you if you have a high number of followers, that you are influential and people will want to collaborate with you, and more people will want to follow you, of course, because people do follow the crowds that in that sort of way, don't they? So there are definite advantages in that number being high. This is one of my...
All right, so I'm curious now, right now, if you're watching me on the live stream, let me know if you feel the same way of what Mark said. If you see a high number of followers to someone, are you looking at them as an influencer? And, let me know in the comments there, put an I. Yeah, if I see them high comments, a large amount of followers, I'll say, all right, they're influencer. Or do you even consider it? So if you think that when you see that, this guy or this lady, they're a heavy hitter here on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, so put I if you think they're influencer, or, if you don't think so, that doesn't influence it and that's a no-go, just put an N. So let me know I if they're influencer, and also I. So let me know that. And if you're watching a replay, be sure to put hashtag team replay. So now, James, I see you're in the cut right there. Yeah, that's what we call it in New York City. When someone's laid back like that, they're in the cut like this.
In the cut.
Yeah, in the cut. So
universal term.
Yeah,
down here in Atlanta too.
They do. Yeah. So now, when you look at someone that you're about to connect with, you see they have either the same amount or nobody. They have more followers than yours, than you have, either twice as much, 3 times. Do you consider them an influencer just by the number without even reading anything, or does that not influence your decision?
So that really doesn't influence my decision. I'm kind of looking like more what we have in common, whether it's industry, whether it's they made a post about something I was interested in and I like that, and I want to say, hey, let me connect with this person here. So the influencer whole moniker is kind of funny. Actually, it was a list that came out about the top 100 influencers in commercial real estate. I don't know if you saw that post or not. But I know some guys who I thought should have been on that list, and I was like, well, they didn't make the list because I know they're highly influential individuals on LinkedIn. But it's all good.
Yeah, mind you, lists are subjective. You know what I mean? So just like anything else, like every holiday season or any event. Let me give you an example. St. Patrick's Day coming up. You're gonna see hundreds and thousands of lists around St. Patrick's Day, and it could be like the top 10 locations to hang out for St. Patrick's Day, which by far Savannah should be the top 1 or top 2. You know what I mean? So it's like either tie for first or either way. But you hear a lot about that now. When it pertains to content, what are you attracted to the most when you are browsing your stream, either Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, or even LinkedIn? What are the type of content that has you stop and say, okay, I'm engaged in this topic?
So you kind of pegged me as a jack of all trades. So I think realistically, it's just things that interest me. It could be someone make a post about sports, or someone make a post about diversity and inclusion, or someone makes a post about their career, the industry, and us being tenant reps and being able to work with like mutual individuals out of different industries. I kind of can find interest in a little bit of anything.
Well, if you like diversity and inclusion, 2 episodes ago on Cocktails with Chello, you would definitely enjoy that conversation. It was a conversation that lasted over 4 hours long. I utilize a podcast, and the topic on that one, and you could definitely look it up, is having tough conversation with black men. And it was white men having tough conversations with black men, and it was the hosts of the podcast were two white men, and they had two black men on the panel. And I'm gonna give too much of it. You could tune in, you could take a look on that. And mind you, if you go 2 episodes ago, if you want to watch the conversation, which is 4 hours long, you're welcome to. Or you can click on the link to the podcast and listen to the actual podcast that influenced the show. So let me get back to the podcast right now and see what he has to say.
Bugbears with LinkedIn, to be honest with you, because, of course, if you connect to someone, they are a follow. So your follow account that people see on LinkedIn includes your connections, and you can connect with 30,000 people if you wish, which makes it look like you've got influence, but actually you may have just connected to 30,000 people. So in a way, you've just forced those people to follow you by connecting with them. And all right, they could unfollow you, but it's less likely that that's going to happen. And some people very much believe in that strategy, and I'll get onto this later on, of, they build their followers just by connecting to as many people as they possibly can. And that's why they're doing it, to build a big following. But my argument would be that's not a following, really. That officially is called followers, but they're not really a following. Until they are people that actually are spotting what you're doing. Now, there are advantages to connections as followers, because you can build relevancy by sending direct messages and stuff like that. But it is kind of wrong, I think, to have this number that defines your influence, or in some people's eyes will define your influence, which is really actually not entirely correct. I mean, it can be on some occasions, but often it's not. It would be much better, for me anyway, I would say, if LinkedIn just gave 2 figures and said, there you go, this person has X number of followers and X number of connections. And then you can see the difference. I mean, there's like this list, I can't even remember what it's called, LinkedIn Rock Stars or something like that I can't even remember who's produced, that did the rounds. I think it still does the rounds. And I asked to be taken off it, because I disagree with it, because I think, and this is LinkedIn trainers on this list, and so people always want publicity and they like to be seen to be high on the list, but in truth, it's all the wrong things. That's the wrong influence. What you're basically saying to people is grow a massive network. Now, if you believe in growing a massive network, that's a different thing altogether. Fine, be on the list. But if what you're saying is, no, you should grow, a relevant network, then don't judge people by the number of followers they've got. But that list is all about that, right? It's all about how many followers you've got, and obviously you can cheat that just by connecting to 30,000 people. And so I've always felt quite strongly about this, that it's, LinkedIn are making it more difficult for people to differentiate between someone that's influential and not, by only giving that one number that includes connections. Anyway, moving on. Get off my soapbox about that one. The organic reach plus relevance, so those 2 things combined, mean that the number of followers does not guarantee that your content will be widely viewed. I mean, I've seen, and we've talked about them on the show, even had some posts of the week like this, posts that have gone viral despite the author having very few followers. I mean, I've seen that numerous times. I don't want to say it's common, but I've seen it a fair bit. Despite that, though, the more followers you have, the more likely it is that your content will be widely seen. I mean, again, there are always exceptions to everything. And relevance is a key factor in all of this, of course. But it's still fair to say that if you build a high number of followers, not necessarily just connections, followers, then you have a greater chance, I think, greater shot at your content being widely seen. Now, look, if you're using LinkedIn as a business development tool and you want to win customers, and your strategy is to go out knocking on doors, to approach people with direct messages.
Hey, Mark,
you don't necessarily need
I brought you to the stage. Let me know if you want to chat.
You might need connections, so you can send them a direct message, but you don't necessarily need a lot of followers. But I would argue that's not influence, and that makes life really difficult, because all you're ever trying to do is approach. And what happens when you do that is that becomes a behavior that people don't come to you.
Marcello, how you doing, man?
Right?
Hey,
so
pretty good. Can you hear what we're listening to right now?
Constantly, because
I recognize his voice.
That time knocking on
That's
doors
Mark, the LinkedIn guy.
90%.
Hold on a second, let me pause it. Yeah. Yeah, so
LinkedIn formed.
Yeah, LinkedIn form. Yeah, you're right about that. That's who he is. I'm connected with him, and I've been listening to his stuff for a very long time, and we've chatted quite a bit. And I said, you know what, you mind if I actually share the most recent episode that he shares some great knowledge on how to get followers, and just the whole process of getting followers. And I thought that obviously this topic is evergreen. So I said, let me share it. I've utilized
That's
other
so cool.
Yeah, I've utilized other podcasts to ignite conversation. So I said this could be a quite timely one. So what's going on, man? The folks that are listening to you on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, let folks know what you do and why should folks connect with you on those platforms and also on Clubhouse.
Yeah, cool. Well, hey, Marcello, love what you do. As you know, I'm very impressed with the way you continue to stay focused on the LinkedIn platform as well as these others.
Thank you.
And sometimes I want to pick your brain on how you're connecting Clubhouse to. Are you still using StreamYard?
Yeah, I'm using StreamYard right now, and I could use Restream. I could use whatever, any kind of platform. I have. Yeah, but I'm using hardware to do some of that work.
Oh, that's really cool. Mm-hmm. Well, my role is I'm the president of ePresence. We're a full service social media agency. So we help people get online and stay online. We clean up LinkedIn profiles. We have webinars every other Friday. We're offering webinars for people to join me and have hands-on instruction on how to clean up their LinkedIn profile. We do that every other Friday. And we have two versions of that. We have a beginners and an advanced version of it. And yeah, we're going like crazy. We're offering something pretty new, a new service where we are helping lawyers do, if you will, mitigation and forensics on social media for either clients or the other side. It's that part's really blowing up for us.
That's good. Congratulations. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I'm glad
man.
you shared that.
Hey,
mind you, go ahead.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm glad you asked. I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. Life is good. I mean, for me, every single day I look at things a little bit differently than the typical person, meaning that I always try to find how can I improve from what I did yesterday. And it's kind of kooky to think that way, but I actually do think that way. So I very rarely settle. So I'm always trying to find different ways to grow. And like what I'm doing here, I learned so much from this episode. So I said, let me share it with other folks. But yeah, work-wise, it's been good. I mean, if trying to stay busy and doing stuff like this helps me to stay relevant and top of mind with either my existing client base or people that I'm working with to, work with them at either current site or a future site that they are on. Before you joined us, I had a gentleman, his name is Bill. He works for a company called Switch. So you could just Google it, Switch. They are one of the largest data centers in the nation, and they're one of my best customers. And he joined us during our 12 o'clock show, which is our Let's Talk Trash, a sustainability discussion on waste and recycling. And he was able to share some insightful tactics and approach. And we talked briefly about the SSI score. Mine is 70 or 69. It just went down one. His was 74.
Oh, ouch. During the show, it went down one?
Yeah. No. It was. I thought it was 70 before. It was 70 like 2 months ago. The last time I checked, I think. So it went down a score. So I got to go up. And I came across that, and I wanted to share with folks. This lady named.
How does that? No.
Go ahead.
That's honestly, that doesn't sound right. Frankly, for you, you shouldn't see that happen.
But mind you, one of the things that I was listening to that I uncovered the SSI score was they said that you have to be not have to be, but if you're signed up for a sales navigator, that either influence or just the main reason of having access to that, you'll be able to engage with more folks. So naturally, your scores should be higher. Mind you, it doesn't guarantee it, but if you have the same approach with Navigator, your score should be anywhere in the mid to high 70s or low 80s. But I don't have Navigator. I have a basic free account.
Gotcha. Well, so here's what's interesting. The SSI score is a selling tool to get people to sign up for Sales Navigator. That's its primary function.
Really?
But it still is a very good, it's a great place to see how you're doing, especially in your industry rank and your network rank. And so those are two, actually, I think it's more important to focus on your industry rank unless you have a very large network. If you have a large network, then that can be a good source as well. It's really interesting when I look at my SSI score. So I have a 74, and the thing that it shows that I need to do is engage with insights. Well, how do I engage better with insights? Well, it would be through using Sales Navigator. Now, I don't have Sales Navigator, and here's the number one reason why. I don't train on it, and I'm not using LinkedIn to build sales, to find new contacts. But if you are one of those people that wants to build new contacts on LinkedIn, you're trying to use LinkedIn as a prospecting tool, then you need to get Sales Navigator. It's worth it. It's almost a secondary CRM. It is a really, really robust system.
Yeah, I've even considered it. I considered to expense it. I had a discussion with my leadership, I would say about a week and a half ago. And, she said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Once you draw up, like a proposal so I could actually run it up. Yeah, I didn't get a straight up yes. Now I have to sell it. so
right. Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I can understand that. They don't just want to throw money away. So Amanda is giving a shout out to you on LinkedIn. She said, hey, Mark, ePresence rules.
So is that Amanda from Business Radio X?
Yes.
They're awesome people. They're good folks out there.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. So I always struggle with Amanda's name, and because it looks like Perch, but it's here, Amanda, I'm going to try it. Pirch. Did I say that right? Hit us on the message. Let me know if we said that right.
She'll let us know in a moment. Now, yeah, I connected with her after your discussion with Jay. So mind you, it was so afterwards. I guess my engagement in that post, and somehow or another we got connected shortly afterwards. But she's been a great connection. She's engaged quite a bit of my content. I've engaged in hers as well, so it's been outstanding. But now, have
you been out there? That's the Gwinnett station of Business Radio X. Have you ever gone out there?
I have not.
All right.
Why?
This is it. Everybody's listening.
Yeah, I have
Marcelo,
not. Yeah.
You got to join me in Gwinnett for my next show because I do host a show there once a month.
Well, I know you. It was last month that you did it with Jay, correct?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what day? When do you have it? What day is that? So then I could actually look it up.
So my show is always easy to remember. It's the third Thursday at 3.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, my
always
the third Thursday for me. I got link lunch at 12, so that might be interesting. Okay, yeah, cool.
Hey, maybe you come out there and do your LinkedIn lunch from the studio.
Oh my god! All right,
gosh. Amanda.
Oh,
we got something going here.
And Amanda said you pronounced it correctly. She said you nailed it.
No, shut up! I did not.
Yeah,
that means she owes me a biscuit.
For Martin's, right? Maybe. So
I love it.
Let me bring back the podcast, and based on what we hear, then I'll pause it afterwards, and I'll get your insight on that. Okay, Mark?
That sounds good. All right, hey man, I'm gonna bolt. I gotta go back to work. I got things to do, but hey, it's good to talk with you.
Likewise, man. Thanks for stopping by, and be sure to share it when you jump on LinkedIn. Share it with your network. I would appreciate that.
You bet, man. Always. We'll see you.
Thanks.
And the net result of that is you have any time to actually put out content that builds a following that shows that you're actually really influential. Now, the flip side, the opposite way of looking at it, which is always the way that I advocate when working with people, is to is to not do any of that, not do any outreach in that way, but to put out good quality content, build a strong following based on the quality of what you're putting out, build influence. You've got to be good at what you do. Obviously, that's obvious, I suppose, but you've got to be good at what you do, but you get out there, you talk to people, you build influence, and through that process, then people come to you. Right, and that's a more magnetic style of business development. So the focus is about you improving your influence, getting more and more influential and recognized and respected and credible. And as a result of that, people want to come to you. And if you get that right, then you are in a situation where when someone approaches you, they're approaching you with the mindset of, I want to do business with this person. This person is clearly, very good at what they do, really knows their stuff, all that credibility stuff that I just talked about. So I'm not saying that they're kind of lining up and begging to do business with you. That would be a slight exaggeration. But their mindset is, I'm coming to you, right? But that's a very different mindset from someone who you go to them. And then their mindset is always, hey, go away, or, well, I'm not really sure I want this. And it's got to push them away because the kind of power balance is all wrong there, if you like. So to me, business development is about creating this influence. And you do need followers to achieve that, right? The right kind of followers, yes, for sure, but you do need to build followers. So let's move on to how to get followers, which is kind of...
All right, guys, I want to let you know, if you happen to jump in on the discussion now, we're listening to a podcast from my dude, Mark Williams. We also have James, and I call him In the Cut. James In the Cut Jr. That's he's hanging out with us right there. He shares some insight on how his approach on LinkedIn followers, and essentially how he engages with folks. Let me know in the comments right now. If you're watching me live, put hashtag team live. If you're watching me in the replay, be sure to let me know in the comments, hashtag team replay. Also, what part of the world are you watching me from as well? New York City, Atlanta, Georgia, and many of you that watch this show on a regular know what I'm about to say. Let me know if you're watching me from Bangladesh. Hey, let me know about that as well. Be sure to join me in the conversation in the chat room as well. We're going to be answering your questions. As you can see, Jazz Chambers asked us a few questions. I've answered it in the comments as well live. Be sure to share this with your tribe. And also, if you hear something you like, don't be shy. Go ahead and hit the team button there. Let folks know that you like what we're talking about with the like, the love, the exciteful. You hear something, and be sure also to follow Cocktails with Chello, the hashtag. And lastly, I also got a YouTube channel. I'm getting a lot of traction on that, so be sure to follow my YouTube channel there as well. Now, I see I got Josh Chambers, my dude. He's all the way. I didn't know that you was in Atlanta. I don't know why I've overlooked that. Team Live Atlanta. That's what's up. And Mark Lavin, he was talking. He was on Clubhouse earlier, and he's Team Live as well, Atlanta, Georgia. So thank you, man. And I see he's very appreciative of what I shared with him earlier. So you're welcome, Jazz. All right. So now let me ask you this now, based on what you've heard thus far, Mr. In the Cut. I'm giving you a whole bunch of names here.
I know, man.
Yeah. What's your opinion so far of what you heard? Anything that stood out, or is it about the same stuff that you know?
Nah, I never know everything. I'm learning just as much as I love engaging. Hey, Amanda, how you doing?
You know Amanda?
Yeah, I met Amanda about 2-3 months ago, I think it was. We were at a networking event together.
Really?
Yeah. So
wow,
Amanda.
I haven't met her in person, and I can tell you what I do know of her and how we've engaged online. All I can tell you is that I know if I meet her in person, it's just gonna echo how I feel, that she is dynamic.
She's amazing. She's an amazing personality and individual. This is the first time I met her. I was trying to hang out with her, but she ain't invited me yet. So,
well, hey, listen, see, you're in the circle now, so hopefully now, as she remembers you, and if you're not connected with her already on LinkedIn, be sure to connect with her then, and start the dialogue. Interesting enough that you said that, because Cocktails with Cello when it first started, and I highly recommend anyone to do that either on LinkedIn or go to my YouTube channel. You'll see months. I mean, we're talking about almost over a year ago, and it's still the case. Cocktails with Cello is a networking show. That's how it started out. At one point, literally, we'll have all the screens full with individuals. Mark was a part of that on a weekly basis. He's a joint-man. We've had folks, him, his name escapes me, but yeah, so literally we have anywhere between 6 to 8 to 10 people on the screen, and we're all having an insightful conversation about numerous topics. So now obviously it pivoted quite a bit since then, because now things have changed, but it's still the case. It's still a networking platform. So if anything, right now it looks like that I made a LinkedIn connection by reintroducing you to Amanda. So that's wonderful.
I love it. I'm glad to see her. But back to your point too. So
yeah.
I'm sitting here as I'm listening. I'm going through my settings in LinkedIn.
Good.
Places that I haven't really explored to see and make sure that I'm fully engaged and I'm opening myself up to meet new people who I may not know ordinarily through just ordinary connections. So yeah, I'm learning, man, a great deal, and just happy to share. There's some things that I've been able to express and do on LinkedIn as well. But I'm definitely trying to take more in to learn and talk about what I know.
Yeah, and mind you, the key thing when it comes down to LinkedIn, and he's going to talk a little bit more about this, is that folks that are passionate about LinkedIn, they break it down to the point like they start asking. These are the kind of conversations that I've been a part of. The questions are, how do you feel about a text only post versus a text and photo post, or text and video post, or just video? And obviously you go down a rabbit hole. So these are the kind of conversations that I've been a part of, and exchange best practices. And having these conversations allow you to be better prepared that when you do post, and how you post and what you post resonates with your network. That's the key thing. So, and the things that you do within your post also helps to get the right engagement. So this is essentially what I'm trying to do by hosting this conversation. So I'm going to continue on with the podcast, and then we'll come back to that.
The whole purpose of this, really. So I see this in something that you do in stages, really. So initially, depending on what your starting point is, you're probably at a stage, or you may be at a stage where you've got some connections, but no actual followers. Yeah, most people I work with, if I look at the difference between the two numbers, there might be, up to 10 difference, right? That's about it. Hardly any difference at all. And your objective is to increase the gap between the number of connections that you've got and the number of followers that you've got. My aim at the moment is to double the number of followers to connections. I'm not there yet, but I'm heading in that direction, and I'm hoping I'll get there soon. All right, so it's good to have targets, by the way, with things like this, and I'll come on to that later as well. So I think it happens in stages. The first stage is sort of 0 to 5,000 followers, right? And so starting point, you may well be listening to this and be somewhere in there, right? 2,000, 3,000, 500, whatever, right? And most of those may be connections. And actually, that's absolutely okay.
All right, so I'm just curious to know, folks that are watching this on the live stream, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, just curious to know, also obviously LinkedIn, did you guys understand what he just talked about? The difference between followers and connections. Do you know, and let me ask you this, James, do you know what he meant by that? The difference between the two?
Actually, I did, but now I know even more.
Yeah.
That's because that's what I was one of the settings I went and just changed, because I didn't have an opportunity to create followers because I didn't have the setting properly set in my account.
Yeah, that's the key thing, be able to knowing what area that you need to focus on. So this is what I'm talking about. So he was talking about the difference between followers and also connections. So this is what I'll show right here. So what he was talking about was this number right here. See, I have 25,000 followers versus 12,000 connections. So that's the difference right there. And then out of network, I have 6,000 504. So those are the numbers. So the delta, the difference between these two numbers is what Mark is talking about, bridging that gap. So that's what he was mentioning before. Like that's his goal, to try to get close to that. So let me go back to the show. Yeah.
That's good. That's good information.
Actually think the best way to get to 5,000 is probably via connecting to people. I don't mean anyone, and just don't go out crazy and just send loads of invites to stacks of people, doesn't matter who they are, just to get to 5,000 as quickly as you can. That isn't going to be as helpful. It will be helpful to a degree, but it won't be as helpful, anything like as helpful, to be honest, as if you build a relevant network, right? So you are connecting to people and you are going out and making it happen, and you're, if you like, forcing followers by connecting to them. But you are still making sure that they're the kind of people that would be interested in your content, that are more likely to want to engage with you, because there's relevance. I don't mean algorithm relevance, I mean, although it's one of the same thing, I suppose, but I mean actual relevance in the sense of that you are relevant to each other in your eyes and in theirs as well. Now, doing that allows you to get momentum. And so you don't necessarily have to attract followers through your content at this stage. I'm not suggesting you wouldn't put out content, you probably would, or definitely would, but that takes time to build, right? One of the things about content is, and one of the questions people always ask me is, how often should I post? And it's like, well, look, if you post a lot, then you are going to get better at it more quickly, right? But then again, the flip side of that is you can overdo it in the sense that you're trying to post when you haven't actually got anything to say, just for the sake of posting. And then you're probably not going to learn as much from it. But it's fair to say that if you post, the more you post, within reason, as long as you've got something to say and you're not just posting it for the sake of it, then each post that you do is a learning experience. And in this 0 to 5,000 followers level, you're learning. You're understanding, you're putting it out there, you're seeing what happens, you put out something that you think will do really well and it flops and you go, why is that? And you try it again a little bit different and then you learn from that, etc., etc. Now, you could keep going along that route after 5,000. You could, as I say, you could go up to 30,000 connections, which means 30,000 followers. But the reason why I don't advocate that is I think there are too many downsides to having an irrelevant network or irrelevant connections. Irrelevant, perhaps a better word, is unfiltered connections. So just anyone. Because if you're getting up to, 15, 20, 25, 30,000, most of those people are going to be irrelevant to you. Depends on your market, I suppose, but for most people, they're going to be irrelevant. And what are you going to get?
All right, that's a good place to stop there. I'm curious to know, folks are watching me now live and also in the replay. And if you watch me live, be sure to let me know at what team that you're on, if you're watching team live or team replay. Now, my question is, folks that are watching this live or replay, how do you feel your connections balance are? Do you feel that 25% of your connections is relative to what you do? 50% of your connections is in line with what you do? 75% or 100%? I mean, so I'm just curious, meaning we've all connected with people that, they might be a hairstylist, but you are an attorney. Why would you need to be connected to a hairstylist if you're an attorney? You know what I mean? Or vice versa. What's the synergy there? So given that said, curious, if you're watching live and also in the replay, let me know. Put at Marcello Arcelane. Let me know where you're at. So now I ask you, James, where you think that you're at based on how many people follow you and you're connected. What's the percentage you think that resonates with you that you're connected with now?
Man, that's a good question. I think I need to dig into the analytics a little bit more about that. But I would say probably a large percent, especially on LinkedIn. I'm a big proponent for LinkedIn as far as like being a great place to connect for business. I was just actually telling a friend of mine earlier today that she probably needs to increase her LinkedIn presence because the connections are a little more in tune or in line with exactly what it is you're doing versus like Facebook versus Instagram and Twitter is a little more kind of more friendly social versus more business social on LinkedIn.
Yeah. No, I mean that was pretty good suggestion. Now, be sure to have her, connect with other like-minded folks, meaning that those individuals are helped to promote her content as well. So, and then also when she comes on the profile, if she wants to use it as a tool, to be sure to utilize it, as a tool, meaning that you do have to engage and you do have to get back to the community. So that's something you have to consider. Yep. So our good friend Amanda said that she feels that the majority of her booking is 60% is relative. It is resonates with her agenda. The 40% is friends. I'm just guessing. Old employees, old colleagues, and people that don't really contribute to her goals in 2021 and beyond. So 60% of our book of business or 60% of her connections is in line. That's what she said. So that's good to know that she has a number. That means that she knows, especially what that means that when she's connecting with someone, she might look at their connection and okay, before she clicks yes, she says there's a good chance that she'll click on it and click on the person's profile and see either what they're about, what they do, their industry, what they're posting, maybe who they have mutual connections with. She might take that extra step just to make sure that she doesn't have a whole bunch of people that might be just, either don't really contribute to her goals, how she's using LinkedIn as a tool. Like I've always been a big proponent for that. Is that what I mean?
I know, like the difference for me too.
Go ahead.
Like on LinkedIn, like most of the time I get a request and I see a profile, I'm probably 9 times out of 10 accept it because it's something that could be possibly in line with what I'm doing. Whereas like on some other social media platforms, if it's not aligning, I'll delete you. I don't want to accept it and keep it moving. So that's a differentiating factor for me.
Yeah, and now that when you bring that up, I think about this now. I asked the audience this as well. Have you been approached or have you connected with these individuals? Mind you, I've connected with them in the past, and I'm sure I'm still connected with some of them. But then eventually, I stopped following them, so then I don't see it in my feed. These are the people that post. They create these posts, and they'll say, "Hey, won't you like, comment, share, and get me to 30,000 connections," and that kind of stuff. So I'm curious to know, folks that are watching this on a live stream, say yes, put yes, me too. I've done that. Just say it in the comments, or if you haven't, you say no way, Jose. So just curious to know, have you? I'm guilty. I've done it. You know what I mean? But like I said, I've stopped following them, so I don't see their content. So curious, have you went down that road before, James, and connected with people like that?
Yeah, I think I'm guilty of that too.
Yeah, because it is very attractive. Yeah, because when you see that, you see them, like you'll see their posts and they got hundreds, maybe thousands of likes, and you're like, wow, this person is an influencer. So, I align myself with them to help me get to that number. And mind you, yeah, you'll get a lot of connection requests, no question about that. But, the ones that I've seen before that does not provide any value are the freelance designers, that do these artwork kind of stuff, or people, Bitcoin sellers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. You seen that, right? And you already know when you see in the description, sometimes they'll say Forex or something like that, in their description. Now, half the time when you do connect to them and you don't know that that's what they do, you'll get a message like, hello, how are you?
You know anything about Bitcoin?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and I'm joking.
I would love to teach you.
Yeah. Oh, so you actually engaged in dialogue with them. I didn't go that far, because what happens is once I get that first hello, then what I'll do is I'll send them an audio message, right? Or I'll send them a video message. Now, the reason why I do that is because if it's a bot, a computer, they're not going to be able to translate that information. They're just looking for text. So that's the reason why. So when I see that and it say hello, and then there's a pause, how are you? you know, then chances are that's a bot. So then, respond to them like either something funny or something totally different, or say, oh, the weather's 70 degrees. Is it raining by you? Yeah, so
That's what I do.
yeah,
I get some. I hit them with something off the wall. Like why you contacting me?
exactly. Oh, at that point, I just unconnect them and stop following them because it's a waste of time.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and Mr. Chambers is laughing. He says, yeah, the same thing. He's been there, so he could definitely relate to that. So let me continue with the show here.
There is high risk of spam. You will get spam when you have that many connections. And very messy homepage feed
we were just
that
talking
makes it
about
very
that.
hard for you to do anything with it. There's just a lot of rubbish there. And also the hidden factor of over-connecting, which I think a lot of people don't realise, but because they don't think this way. But, you're part of a community here, and you are connecting also to people that you know well and trust. And by you connecting to other people, you're giving those people access to the people that you know well. And if they're just anybody, that could be potentially damaging. But in addition to that, people that know you may be invited to connect by one of these dodgy people that you've connected with just to get your numbers high, just to get to 30,000. And the net result of that is that they get an invite from this person who is dodgy.
And the reason why he used the number 30,000, James, and the folks watching on the live stream, that's the magic number on LinkedIn. Once you reach 30,000 connections, you already maxed out connections. The only thing you could do at this point is followers. I'm not sure there's a cap on followers. I've seen people who have as much as 74,000 followers. Wow. So, so really, but I know when you get to 30,000 connections, you can't get any more connections. That's the max.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they accept it because they see, oh, well, Mark's connected to him, so I'm sure they're all right. Right? So you're kind of giving them that third-party endorsement that they probably don't deserve. So, I mean, I think not enough people think about that factor. The influence that has on other people, or the impact that has on other people. So, but my view is that the 5,000 mark, and the reason why I say that number is that I think that's a very achievable number to be able to connect to, near to that number, that are relevant and to some degree screened, so that you are thinking about who they are. Now, don't get me wrong, you definitely don't have to know 5,000 people to connect with. You just need to look at them and go, this person's relevant. This is the sort of person that I think would be interested in what I'm doing, and equally I find what they're doing interesting. And that's not always going to be both, but at least one of those you should be able to tick, right? So, at that stage, connect to relevant people, and you find them a variety of ways. So second tier is a good one. So you can do a search, and it might be a keyword search. So put in certain keywords that you expect to find in the profiles of people that would be relevant, and then just go in looking at them. And there might be third tier, but reducing that to second tier. Also, of course, go into the connections list of those people that you're already connected with. So, when it says 500 plus, click on that and have a look. It won't show you all of them. A keyword search, so put in a certain key. From that, these are all second tier, of course. You may find some interesting and relevant people in there. Groups can come into play here as well. Even if there's no activity in a group, even if it's an absolute rubbish group, if it's quite a niche subject, then the members have likely joined.
All right, so I'm curious to the folks that are watching me. I see we have quite a bit of folks watching me live right now, and also folks on Facebook and also YouTube. Let me know if you guys are part of a group, either on LinkedIn or Facebook or any other group. I'm curious. And then if so, are you active? So let me know. Yes, I'm in a part of a group. And if so, what group is it? And if you have the link to it, share right here in the stream. I'm curious. Now, what about you, James? What if you are part of a group on LinkedIn? What type of group are you a part of, and are you active in them?
Definitely a part of the Atlanta Commercial Board Group and a couple of more groups that are related to commercial real estate. Probably need to increase a little bit more of my activity in some of those groups as well. I can honestly admit that I probably is not as active in some of the groups that I probably should be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a part of groups in my industry, which is sustainability, recycling, waste, green energy, clean power. So I'm a little bit more active than the typical person, and active is a relative term, meaning that I'll post certain events that I host, and I'll post it in these groups. You know, essentially I'm copying and pasting the same post that I might be posting elsewhere, and then I actually request to be notified when other people post on these groups. So if I have an opportunity, if I get notified, I'll engage in that content, and then that gives me an opportunity to see their content and then go on their profile and connect with them, which essentially I'm actually going to be pulling some of those people that I might have never connected with, and now I'm going to connect with them because they're in that group and I like what they're doing, and I'm going to engage with stuff on their profile and then send them a connection request, and on the auspices that then we could actually have them here, like right now, watching this show with me and engage in my content. And I got them, managed to get that connection from a group. So I only bring that up because I know groups are hit or miss for certain people, because it's really, sometimes it could just be a graveyard. A lot of the moderators on some of these groups, or just groups in general, unless it's really active, like maybe like groups in the ones that I think about, like active groups, I think about groups in like Facebook groups. I don't engage in any of them, but what I do know of the groups in Facebook is that they're notoriously active. Like if you join a Facebook group, you know what I mean, you know, it's like a hangout, you know what I mean? So that compared to like groups in LinkedIn, it's like, you know, hello, it's like echoes, like nobody's out here, you know what I mean? So
I think one of the things that kind of turned me off a little bit to the groups in LinkedIn is they have so many rules and like rules of engagement. I was like, I had one guy one day, I think I posted something and he just came back on me like, hey, you can't post that in here. And I'm like, well, okay, what's the purpose of being in the group? So it kind of deterred me from wanting to actually be more participatory in those groups.
yeah, I mean, I there's a couple, or a few for that matter, groups that I'm a part of in LinkedIn, and when I post stuff on their profile, occasionally they they request for they say that my post is not going to be posted and it has to be vetted, and it could take for up to 14 days to get tagged up a post. So that's definitely those. I mean, I can understand why they take that approach, because that restricts the group to be inundated with garbage. I get that, but at the same time, if you don't give people the ability to casually post, then you're not giving the people the opportunity to actively network. So, and if you're basically a bouncer and you're determining who comes in, meaning the post, and some of these people don't, they are moderators to these groups. This is not their 9 to 5. So whenever they get around to it, they'll get around to it. Then if they're just like, they could care less, then your post just sits there. And if it's timely, then obviously, then what happens, you do enough of those and your stuff doesn't get posted, then the activity is just not going to be there anymore. Right. So that it just, is a trickle down effect.
I think that's what happened to me.
Yeah. So I can relate to that. I'll continue posting on someone because it's not the hardest thing for me to just copy and paste. But if I can post, then I'll still try to make an effort to interact. So again, let me know if you guys are a part of groups here on LinkedIn, and if so, let me know, if you're active in it. So I see here, Mr. Chambers saying the group on LinkedIn, the people's post every 2 to 3 days that he's a part of. Oh, good. Well, do me a favor. Introduce us to the group that you're a part of. If you can, copy and paste the link to the group here if you have an opportunity. And mind you, if you can't, because you might be on your phone, at a later time, be sure to come back and post it in the replay. So thank you very much for sharing that, Mr. Chambers. All right, let's get back to the show.
Because that subject appeals to them, right? Now, they may not ever go there or have anything to do with that group, which is, pretty much the norm these days for most people. But That doesn't mean that it's like a badge, if you like, that identifies them as somebody that could be relevant to you. So that can be a good place to find people. Join a relevant group and then go through the list of members. As I say, keyword people searching, one way. Keyword content searching is another way. So think of topics that you think are relevant to what you do or the kind of people that you're interested in as being your followers, and search for posts and find posts, especially posts where there's engagement. Now, if there's engagement, everybody that's engaged with that post is a potential connection. Certainly the person that posted it is a potential connection. So by doing keyword content searching or post searching and keyword people searching, you're starting to uncover many, many more people. And I don't think it's that difficult to get to 5,000. The reality is, though, as you start to get towards 5,000, provided that you are posting content and enough content that you are getting better at it as you go along, then what inevitably will happen is that content plus your visibility being increased by the size of your network means that more people are going to find you and therefore wish to follow you. Now, they may connect with you or they may just follow you, all right? But it's not all necessarily going in one direction. It sounds a lot if you're like, I've got 100 connections, I've got to get to 5,000. That sounds like a mountain to climb.
Be sure to share.
In reality, what actually really happens is that you get momentum and then you start to find you're getting as many invites as you're sending, and then you eventually get to a point where you're hardly ever sending any. I honestly can't remember the last time I sent someone an invite. But I get loads all the time, and that's obviously a bit extreme, but you will get more towards that. The emphasis shifts between inviting and receiving invitations. That pretty much everyone I've ever worked with, that's definitely happened. And the final point on who you connect with, try, not exclusively, but try to show emphasis in those connections towards not only relevant people, but people that are active. Go to their profile and their activity, all activity section, so you see how much they're commenting or liking other people.
All right, so guys, so I'm gonna. Oh, I dropped the phone there. So I'm curious to know. So yeah, so it'll be fine. This thing is bulletproof. I have the other one is over there. I think thought I had it here a moment ago. Sorry. Yeah, I have this one. This is the Fold from Samsung, and it's pretty bulletproof. So now what I'm going to do is I have the link to the discussion here on so you guys can watch or listen, better yet, listen to the rest of the discussion on that, because I know we already typically like to keep the show around 2 hours, but we had a lot of free flowing conversations prior to listening to the dialogue, which extended the time that normally the show lasts. So I want to be respectful of everyone's time, and thank you for watching. But let me ask you now, James, now, given what you've heard, what do you think that your next steps are going to be when it comes down to gaining more followers?
Shoot, I started already. I went to my settings. I already changed some things, and I'm going to probably engage a little bit more. Just however that looks per post, and see how we can organically create some awesome connections. And definitely want to figure out how I can add more value to the individuals who I may connect with, and see how I can help them grow if possible, and just working from there.
Well, this would my recommendation on this. I just there's a link right now to the podcast. This is the podcast that we've been listening to right now. So you guys can listen to that at your leisure at a later time. Now, my recommendation to you and anyone that's watching this on the replay or live is to
jamming over there.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm trying to see where the... Oh.
Now you got the info.
Yeah. That's weird. Hold on a second.
There it is.
That was a weird one. I can't figure that out, but that's what happened. So now, so what my recommendation is to understand what you how to engage with them is when you post next time, create a poll and start wide, almost like a funnel. Start wide and then narrow it down. Like for instance, like you say, hey, just curious to know what type of content would you want to see, and say, hey, this is what I do. Like almost like have an opportunity. If anything, this is what I recommend to start out. Create a post that introduce yourself to them. So you can put your photograph and detail what you do on your 9 to 5 and also what you gain or what you plan to do on LinkedIn. So then what happens is, and I think I might have done this for you. So then when next time you connect with someone and there's an opportunity for you to share it, that's the operative word, opportunity. Then you could, rather than going into a long diatribe explanation, like, well, this is what I do, blah, 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 and then they don't really care to know about that. You could actually say, hey, rather than me go into a long thing, let me send you a link to this, or let me tag you to this post. So then they know what you do. And then obviously other people are going to be engaging in that. That's one thing you could do. Or you could actually create a video. So you could actually just record a video and say, hey, I'm so-and-so. This is what I do. This is the area that I cover. And this is what I specialize in. If this interests you, let's connect. Or if you know someone I can help, send them my way, that kind of thing. So then whenever you connect with someone, you could just copy and paste the link to that post in the DM. You could do that. And then lastly, the poll could be like, hey, I'm thinking about using LinkedIn a little bit more than used to. I'm new and I'm curious what you guys will want to hear from me. I'm in real estate and this is what I'm passionate about. What would you want to hear from me? Stuff about mortgages. Would you be interested in, when I come across good locations, business or commercial property, whatever it is, or whatever it might be. And then based on what they come up with, then you can start narrowing down the decision. And I'll give you an example. Mm-hmm. I for the past several weeks, I've been getting folks send me via DM asking me, hey, Marcello, can you go live on your Cocktails with Chello a little bit later? And then other people have said, man, I missed your show. I wish you came on earlier. So I was getting both sides of that. So then I was like, okay, you know what? Rather than me just try to reinvent the wheel or just start shooting around and not knowing exactly, let me ask folks. So I asked them, hey, would you want me to come on at 6, 6:30, 7, 7:30? No, I think originally was either 6:30, 7:30, or 8:30. And I got a whole bunch of 7:30s. And very little 6:30, but then I had like a 1 or 2 for 8. So then the next time I didn't get much engagement on my poll. What do you guys think? You think about 6, 7, 7:30, or 8? Now on this poll, I'm getting a lot for 8. Mm-hmm. So at this point, so the next time I'm gonna revisit the same poll, which will be next week. I'm going to do the same thing. At this point, then I'm going to have less questions. I'm going to have, okay, so either 8 or 7 or 7:30, one of the two. Then at that point, then I could really narrow down to the time that I get the most votes for. So then that means whatever time is the most, then there's a good chance that I'm going to have a higher number of engagement because the people that my network have, that's what they're asking. You know what I mean? So that makes sense. So the same thing applies to what you say. Just ask. That's my recommendation. Rather than try to throw to see what sticks on the wall, and then you wasting your time creating content and it's not really resonating with them.
That makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yep, makes sense.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, and give it a shot. It couldn't hurt. Now, before we wrap up, I want you to have an opportunity to let folks know what you have coming up in either within your business. What are you planning to get into that people might be interested to know? So I want to give you the opportunity to share that with folks.
Awesome, I appreciate that. So where we are right now, we're wrapping up our 2021 class of Leadership to Cab. We're wrapping up the Start Me program with Emery Gosweta, where I'm a mentor in that program. And after I'm done with these programs, I will actually begin a commercial real estate training for individuals who are interested in coming into like the commercial real estate space. So I'm partnering with a guy named Dan. Met Dan on LinkedIn. Awesome guy, successful commercial real estate professional. And I'm excited about really jumping off an opportunity to expose more individuals to commercial real estate.
Wonderful. And be sure to give a shout out to Dan. I'm not sure if you're able to do that from your phone now, but go into the live stream, either live or on the replay, and say, hey, Dan, check this out. Now, I got to ask you a couple of questions. The first thing is the mentorship initiative. Can you tell me more about that?
So Start Me Atlanta is it's a program through Emery Gosweta School of Business, and so they have like 3 communities. It's the Clarkston, East Atlanta, and the South Atlanta communities. I'm a mentor in the Clarkston community. We have about 17, 18 entrepreneurs, but I could call them emerging entrepreneurs who have opportunities to really pitch their business ideas to professionals to get like guidance as far as like business plans, marketing, strategy, social media strategy, and they also have an opportunity to apply for the grant that they can win up to $10,000 to put towards their business as well. So I was blessed enough to get opportunity to come in as a mentor, and I've been enjoying it ever since. We're going into like week 10 next week. And we actually get to the place where we're about to listen to the pitches from the entrepreneurs about their business and why they should be able to get the $10,000 to go towards their business so they can grow it. So I'm enjoying it, man. I love it. For me, I remember last year I was like, I want to help so many entrepreneurs like get in position where they can get their own locations, get their own stores. I wanted to help 20 entrepreneurs last year, but then we got hit with the COVID. And so God just kind of like, manifested time and put me in front of like entrepreneurs through this program. I think it's like 40 entrepreneurs overall through like all 3 communities. And it's an exciting opportunity to really like reach back and give back to the community to kind of give them some insight as to some possible do's or don'ts, or just some ways that they can probably make what they're doing a little bit better and make it more efficient for them.
That's wonderful. I mean, that's quite encouraging, and it's remarkable that you're doing that. So I applaud you for that. That's pretty awesome there. I like that. Yeah, no question about that, man. I got the whole works. So now, so let me ask you this. Tell me more about the commercial aspect, the last portion about that course.
The commercial, the training class. Mm-hmm. So I met Dan actually it was a networking group here. We were.
Is his name Dan or Daniel?
Dan Libertix. I didn't want to tear his last name up.
Was it LLB or LOB?
You might be connected with Dan. Let me see. But anyway, I met him, and he's a phenomenal individual. I was in a networking group that we do on every Wednesday through Abel Pacino. I was on Abel's podcast like at the end of 2020, and so it aired like the top of this year. But Dan reached out. He's an outstanding like real estate professional. He talked about some things that he was doing that was really like bringing in like major income for himself and putting his clients in great positions where they were able to find the properties and opportunities that they were seeking across the country. So he and I had a conversation about this training program that he has, and it's something that kind of like exposes like all aspects of commercial real estate. It's similar to a program I went through in like 2016 called REAP, but it's certain criteria that you have to meet to be a member of the REAP program, and what Dan is offering does not have those types of restrictions on it. So I'll be able to help individuals like throughout the, who are interested in commercial real estate, who want to transition possibly from doing residential into commercial, or who just want to come into commercial like holistically. So I'm excited about the opportunity that we'll be able to jump this training. He's already doing it. I'm bringing my brokerage into the fold. I got some individuals who are finishing up their real estate license, and I want to kind of put them in the program as well so they can accelerate like their learning process and learning curve, so they can really understand like the niche they want to play in the industry.
Okay. Well, I gotta ask you, opening up all aspects. You mentioned earlier, the training course helps to open all aspects of commercial real estate. How does that help individuals learning that or knowing that?
So commercial, real estate industry, period, is a huge industry. And so if you get into like the commercial side, there's just so many different capacities that you can operate in. So, I use myself as an example. I chose to go down the tenant representation and business brokerage path because, I was a serial entrepreneur. I experienced a lot as an entrepreneur in brick and mortar, operating a business, running a business. So I just feel like I have tremendous amount of, value to add to someone who is an entrepreneur, like, at whatever stage they're in, whether they're a startup, whether they're existing and they're looking to expand and grow, or whether they are someone looking for something that is more turnkey, something that's already existing and operating. So that kind of fit my background and fit what I was really passionate about, being able to add value to those individuals. And so that's the path I chose to specialize in. But you have landlord reps, you have property managers, you have project management, you have construction, it's just so much you can do in this industry, and it's all about really like being exposed more than anything else to kind of get an understanding as to what may resonate with you as an individual, so that you can kind of make a decision as to what route you want to go. And you don't necessarily have to specialize. Like, you can kind of be a generalist if you choose to, but it's all about really getting an understanding of who you are and where you are in your career path and what may work well for your current database or your current sphere of individuals that you're able to help do exactly what it is they need to do.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, that's the key thing. It's it sounds like a different kind of even though it's a training course, it's almost, to me, as I listen to you speak, almost like a form of mentorship. That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, mind you, I'm not trying to change the title of the training course, but that's what it sounds like to me. It's almost like, they're going to come out and they're going to learn, but at the same time, you're going to help them and guide them to be successful. That's what it sounds like to me. So I applaud you. That's fantastic, and I'm glad to hear about that. And what I would also challenge you is that to do me a favor, even though that's not something that will be my cup of tea, essentially, to train or learn about it, but I do work with a lot of commercial realtors. I have to, because the services that I provide are vital for them to be successful, which is waste and recycling services. So I do work with a lot of them. So learning about their business on a like you said, a holistic level could only make me a better communicator with them, and I can speak their language. So I definitely want to learn more about that as well. If we could ever, obviously we could continue our dialogue off of the live and, DM. So definitely want to see how we could ensure that we could find ways to further strengthen our bond here on LinkedIn, or even hopefully even in person. So definitely encourage that. Yeah.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. I can't thank you enough. Everyone that's watching the live show here, thank you very much for watching Cocktail with Chello episode 37. And be sure, if you like what you heard, be sure to tag them in the comments and also share it with your network. I can't thank everyone for doing that. So you guys have a good one.
Why are you running away?
Take care.
Thought that you wanted to stay. All the words unspoken said that you loved me today. So how could you leave for LA? Oh, you left me broken. I'm reading all your letters. It doesn't make it better. You're living in my mind for free. I'm drinking all the liquor. I'm picturing you with her. You're nothing but a memory. You're out of reach, left me in the open. Your love for me, deeper than the ocean. So why did you break me apart? You left that you wanted me close. Drunk on this emotion. How can I even go home? With you is all that I've known.